يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان والروح والريحان. يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن خير الكلام كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then I confer blessings upon the final Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Continuing the second part of our khutbah from last week, looking at a comprehensive look towards Islam rather, and looking how Allah subhanahu wa jalla wa ala sent the Qur'an down, a revelation, and alhamdulillah, we, my dear brothers, we recite the Qur'an, we learn the meanings, we come for the khutbah, we get the reminders. And with all that being said, alhamdulillah, it's just a perfect opportunity to remind ourselves of the deen, of that which is important, which is more important than anything else. And among those important things is looking at the famous kitab Bulugh al-Maram, the famous compilation of ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ by the famous Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah, right? And he compiled these ahadith, and we spoke about how we're looking at the final chapter, the final book that's been mentioned in this book of hadith, the final part, and in which he compiled some amazing ahadith which are just amazing, seriously. And you look at those ahadith and you look at how much we implement and we follow. Today we're going to look at two ahadith inshaAllah ta'ala because of time. One, the first hadith that comes under the chapter of al-birr was-silah, showing obedience and making good relations with your family. And you look how important this is. And someone may say, how is this important? Someone may question that. It's not a problem if you question that. But the answer is that the Prophet ﷺ spoke about it. Something our Messenger ﷺ spoke about. He took a time out of his life and he spoke to the Sahaba about. And he said, look, this is important. Thus marks a very, very important aspect in Islam. Like all the other aspects that you find in hadith and so on and so forth. So this hadith by Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, in which the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the one who wants to find increase and barakah in his rizq, in his sustenance. And look at that. Before I carry on, just on that point, how many of us are always job searching? How many of us need to earn money to live? Everyone, it's not about how many, everyone needs to. All of us need to earn a good living, have a good job, have a good career. And in other words, if you look at the tarbiyah aspect of this hadith, in other words, it's like saying, if you really want a good job and you want a lot of money to come to you, then you need to do this. And the Prophet ﷺ said, and if a person wants to increase his age, so it's not just money here, we're not just talking about job, we're not just talking about rizq, we're not just talking about your food on your plate, we're talking about your age as well. And the Prophet ﷺ said, فَلْيَصِلْ رَحِمَهُ, let him show goodness towards his kin, towards his relatives, let him make good ties, let him keep the relations. And thus in another hadith in the same chapter, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يدخل الجنة القاطع, that the one who will not enter Jannah would be the one who cuts off those relations. He has issues with his cousins, with his family, with his brothers, with his parents. Allahumma musta'an, we've come to that extent. A person cuts off from their family members, لا يدخل الجنة, will not enter Jannah. And the meaning, if you go into greater detail, doesn't mean it would never enter Jannah, but it means everyone would go whilst he will still be in the hellfire until would come a time eventually. But that could be hundreds of years, thousands of years later, if you want to examine that or understand that through the years of the dunya. So the importance of this, so increasing in age, what does this mean? The ulama, they say there are two meanings to this. Either that your age will increase by number. So you show goodness to your relatives, I don't know, number may multiply as Allah wants, maybe by 5 years, maybe by 10 years, Allah knows. The other meaning is that a person will have barakah in his life. So if he lives 70 years, it's as though those 70 years are like 90 years. The barakah, the blessings, just by showing goodness to one's relations. And how many times we find that, a person cuts off from these relations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, right? And how many times, it's so easy for a person, I don't want to speak to my brother. And the Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith in the same chapter, he said that it is not permissible for a person to keep away from his brother, meaning, when there's an issue and there's no one talking for 3 days, so if you see each other, you don't speak to each other. The first day, second day and the third day are allowed. And there's a haqq on the nafs, and there's a right upon the individual. In other words, the Prophet ﷺ saying, look, the first day, second day, third day, there's no harm that you might be upset. And if you don't speak to your brothers, it's understandable. But anything after 3 days, فَهَذَا مِمَّا لَا يَجُوزُ, this is not allowed. These are things that are completely not permissible. So a person must remember these things. And we ask Allah Jalla wa Ala an yuwaffiqana, that He gives us the tawfiq to do this. أقول ما تسمعون هذا واستغفر الله لي ولسائر المسلمين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم أما بعد. And the second hadith that we want to look, so we looked at one hadith, but a couple of ahadith, but under one main topic, which is to show goodness to one's relations. And to be honest with you, we can go longer just talking about this, but I just wanted to mention this hadith inshallah, and we'll end. And that hadith is where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be careful, be aware of al-hasad, of jealousy. فَإِنَّ الْحَسَدْ تَأْكُلُ or يأكل الحسنات كما تأكل النار الحطب. The Prophet ﷺ said that be aware of hasad, this jealousy, for verily it wipes away, it eats your good deeds, just like fire burns wood. And this is something that we find so much. And if you think about the first hadith that's been mentioned, how it's related, that most of the time when people are envious of others, families, I'm talking about your own family members, then they stop talking to each other. It's jealousy. If you look at it, why are you not speaking to them? Oh, because he did this to me, because he did that to me. You're holding grudges, but it's linked to jealousy some way or the other. And most of the time it's jealous because one is jealous. Or he had a baby boy, or she had a this, or this, that and the other. And a person does not want others to be happy. And the meaning of jealousy, the ulama mentioned, is there are two definitions of jealousy. There's one definition which is that when you see your brother has something or your sister has something, then you no longer want them to have it. And the second definition of jealousy is that when you see your brother or sister, they have something, you don't like that they have that. Wherever you want them to not have that any longer or not. But these are the two definitions of jealousy. And we ask Allah Jalla wa Ala that He keeps us away from these things which destroy our deeds, like fire burns wood, and at the same time which leads to cutting off from relations. And you look at how all these deeds, and we can go on and on, my dear brothers, but we won't. But the point I'm making is how other deeds, lying as an example, backbiting as an example, slandering as an example, gossiping, and all of these other bad actions, they're all linked. It's like a tree, branches of each other. It's linked with all these other bad actions as well. So as Kama Qala alayhi salatu wasalam, once the Prophet ﷺ said, a person should keep away from lying so that he can stop all the bad actions. Because when someone would ask you about what did you do, you would not want to tell them about your bad deed. So, lying is the asas, lying is the essence. We ask Allah Jalla wa Ala that He gives us tawfiq to do good deeds and good actions. And sadaqah, which is a very, very important deed, a good action, which wipes away our bad actions and which removes the anger of Allah Jalla wa Ala. And sadaqah can be given anywhere if you like. Many places you can give sadaqah. Like in the masjid, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think about how that removes the anger of Allah Jalla wa Ala subhanahu wa ta'ala. نسأل الله العافية والسلامة من كل إثم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us away from every sin, every bad action. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعف عنا. اللهم ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. قوموا لصلاتكم يرحمكم الله.
يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان والروح والريحان. يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان.